Yo, YouTube! What's going on? Yo, I hope everything with y'all have been well. It's been a few videos since my last one in terms of the speedrunning segments, in terms of having my custom HTML, and actually, I have been thinking of various different ways to make it better, and I actually just straight up instead of using LiveSplit server, I moved on to a new thing called 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲. I've been getting very frustrated with the constant crashes and everything when it came to LiveSplit server. However, when using 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲, I'll be able to have a little bit of a better sense of consistency, reliability, and actually quite a significant amount of data that I can get. Without further ado, let's move into it. So here, I have a run that is actually very dead. But as you can see, it's pretty much how it was previously. But in this instance, though, everything is done autonomously. So I don't have to push any sort of buttons or anything to activate any sort of triggers or anything within StreamerBot. So as you can see, my timer's running right now. And all I gotta do in terms of this is just press the reset button. So I'm just gonna... Actually, yeah, let me just show you guys. My split's right here, and I will right click just to show you that I'm doing nothing else. I'm just control and then reset, and everything will take care of its own. So there we go. As you see, it even has my StreamerBot thing where it says, well, better luck next time. Everything from here is done from 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲, which is an absolutely insane website, and it's absolutely incredible. Though also I can have it happen the same thing where I could just start and it'll take care of all the effects as per normal. Actually, you know what? I will compare against real time right now, and I will then split again. Split, and as you can see, my time is minus 57, which is absolutely insane. So it's got the same properties as whether it's ahead or behind, and there's custom CSS for it. So it's pretty much the same exact thing as I had in my previous video, which I will have linked down below for your perusal. So to share what is actually going on here, it is actually a straight up HTML document. So as you can see, it's just straight up reading from a local file, the run index. So I'll just open that up for you guys. It's pretty bare bones as it may look right now, but the main thing that's going on here is primarily within the JavaScript, and I do my best to be able to try and communicate as much as I can, but just to keep things simple for everyone who may not be specifically programmers, is that it pretty much just gets data from a WebSocket, and a WebSocket's pretty much just a ongoing output of data whenever something happens. So in LiveSplit's case, whenever you split, data will be sent out. So essentially, the main thing that is happening here in the JavaScript is it gets the specific WebSocket server, which can be found with 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲's documentation, where you'd essentially get the URL. Here, let me zoom in a little bit for y'all. You essentially just get the URL with your display name for 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲. And after you have that, that's pretty much just filters all the data that goes in to your specific speed run. So in my case, I'll just do 𝑬𝑿𝑷𝑨𝑵𝑫, and I also have it so that it connects to StreamerBot, which is another wonderful program to be able to help with stream automation and crazy effects that happen on stream. Essentially, all that's going on here is that we're just connecting to the run, where we have a whole bunch of console logs for just debugging purposes. So for instance, if I were to just open the file locally, if I were to just have this where I start and then I just split again, you'll see that my split will show up here. As you can see, it's 1:1, 45 seconds ahead right there, exactly how it puts it in LiveSplit. However, the data here is that right over here, you can see I have specific sort of classes. One for the name, the delta, a separator, and the time itself. And all these things can have your own custom CSS when with CSS, you can have various different customizations, animations, and everything, all that. Especially also situational sort of things. But whatever the case may be, that's pretty much it in terms of the showcase of what it does. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth onto how to program it yourself. So if you may not be like so programming savvy, I'll still try to explain it as best I can for someone who may not be as too knowledgeable on the programming sense. But trust me, it's not as bad as it seems. I try to make comments that make things a little bit easier to understand. So in this situation here, all we got to do is just change the username at the end here. So 𝑬𝑿𝑷𝑨𝑵𝑵. StreamerBot socket is going to be your StreamerBot socket, where it's pretty much going to be the same, I believe, where all you got to go to is server/clients and WebSocket server, which is right over here. And you're just going to pretty much put it the same way as it is here, where you got the port and the address, which is your local IP. So when you go on here, as you can see on the run over here, I have it say that we're connected to StreamerBot and also connection established with the run. And then it returns all this data here. So whenever a split happens, the run is actually pouring out all this data for us. So it's got a whole bunch of different data, and we're just trying to nitpick for specific bits. But essentially, that's what happens on the message. That is all the data that's happening to us when we get the message, and that's all the data there. And then essentially what happens here, we say if we just start, don't show the split, because if you just start, there's no split to really showcase. And if so, you're trying to get an index that is not 0. Below 0, and that doesn't really exist in a array sense. But pretty much it's just creating the entire line itself. So it's creating the entire line of like 1.1 and everything you see here into a DOM object, which is just a document object there. And essentially that's pretty much it. I have like a whole bunch of debugging things for getting the delta and everything. I won't go too in depth in terms of the actual bits of data specifically, but it's essentially just handling it here. I have it commented out where it creates the DOM element for like the name, delta, separate, and everything. And also I have it specifically where we could perform specific StreamerBot actions, where we essentially have it so that if it is on the first split, make it so that you do a specific effect here. So just to run this down a little bit specifically for StreamerBot users, all we have to do is get the StreamerBot socket, which is defined at the top over here. StreamerBot socket is your local IP right there. And then what you got to do is send a stringified JSON right here, which there's documentation. I will link that down below as well, where you perform action, and you want to get to a specific sort of action that you have, where you can just pretty much right click and copy the action ID, which is the last thing on the first section. And then you got to copy the name, and the ID can pretty much be anything you really want it to. It could be 101, 102, 1000, whatever. It doesn't really matter, just as long as it's there. That has to be there. Essentially, that's pretty much it, really. Then everything else is just calculating the delta, where it just, since the data is gotten from milliseconds, we convert it to a actual readable format, and then milliseconds to mins and seconds, pretty much. And I also have something else for this little widget down below me, but it's still a work in progress. So all in all, I just want to say that I'm very excited to get this out to you guys. I will say that there are current problems where when you're handling things with the 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲, there is essentially a timeout of 9 minutes. So if you're being idle with your speedrun or anything within 9 minutes, the client is going to disconnect. And in order to fix that, all you have to do is pretty much refresh your browser source, and then everything will be honky-dory again. Your splits won't be showing, but you'll be able to showcase your splits again. Next steps as to what I want to do to improve this is that I want to figure out the gold event. So I want to be able to tell whenever I get an event that's for like best time ever, or like this is a gold split, I want to be able to figure that out so I can provide custom CSS as well as possibly trigger a streamer bot sort of instance. And I'd also like to get a little bit more further down with the best possible time, worst possible time, and whatnot. But I'm also very open to hear what any of you guys are thinking, what sort of suggestions you have for me. I do have this documented as well on GitHub for your own perusal and your own usage. So feel free to use this, and I'd be more than happy to answer any sort of questions you may have. But as always, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in, and I want to wish you all the best. As always, peas and carrots, y'all. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.